What's up, chat? How's everybody doing today? We're going to talk about a new game called Halloween. Gun Interactive dropped a new multiplayer video for Halloween 2 days ago, and my first reaction was, bruh, PTSD. Because this instantly reminded me of the last two games Gun Interactive published. And let's be clear, both these games are dead. Friday the 13th servers gone. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they pulled support before the game even finished dying. So yeah, when I first saw the IllFonic plus the Gun Interactive logo, I was like, bruh, we're gonna have the same story again, I guess. But before we're gonna talk about this trailer, we're gonna talk about who's actually behind this game, just in case you are living under the rock and you don't know about the studios. IllFonic and Gun Interactive. Now, IllFonic has been in this space for a while, and let's be honest, their track record is rough. Friday the 13th, the game was the first time IllFonic and Gun teamed up. The game had problems, but people loved it. Then boom, licensing lawsuits, updates stopped, community left hanging, and servers shut down on December 31st, 2024. And another game dead. Yeah, a group of passionate devs revived it on PC with a few thousand players. Respect to them, but that's a fan rescue service, not a success story. And we'll talk about that in another video. And next we got Predator Hunting Grounds, which is IllFonic's solo project published by Sony. And chat, a few months after the launch, Sony said, yeah, this game is free now. That's when I knew this game was cooked. Repetitive gameplay got stale fast, player base dipped immediately. So what did everyone do? They went back to Dead by Daylight, the one asymmetrical horror game that's been alive for almost a decade. Then comes Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. I was excited. I love Ghostbusters, but guess what? Same IllFonic fate. Same story, and right now 27 players max in 24 hours. So 3 games, 3 different excuses, and one consistent problem: the sustainability. Now let's add Gun Interactive back into this mess. Because Gun isn't a traditional game developer. They are bunch of executives or CEOs. They crowdfunded the Friday the 13th, raised about $1.1 million. And since then, they don't build games anymore. Their last game, Speakeasy on PS4, got a 3 out of 10 from GameSpot. Got pulled from the PlayStation Network, and that was it. Since then, they just fund projects, hand them to studios with genre experience, and surprise, surprise, it's usually IllFonics. So now you got a well-funded publisher working with a studio that has never proven long-term success. And that makes you ask the real question: do I actually buy Halloween the game? Or am I funding bunch of CEOs who will probably make poor choices and abandon the game after they get their shares and move on to the next game, rinse, recycle, repeat? What happens if the game doesn't hit its profit target? Do they pull the support again? Because when the Texas Chainsaw Massacre died, the CEO called it a natural creative end. Which in corporate term means, yeah, we are not making enough money, so we are out. But what about people who bought the game, who wanted to play that game for a very long duration, like, at least for 10 years or whatever? And meanwhile, the game sold 1.1 million units, made $40 million, and on a $12 million budget. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And let's not forget what was happening with Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it was alive. Pay to win character, lazy, recolors sold as new skins, devs arguing with players on social media, banning criticism, making their own Reddit account just to silence people. And on top of that, broken anti-cheat, crossplay issues, long lobby times, a stun lock problem that took months to fix. And while players were still processing the death of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Gun Interactive was already grabbing the Halloween license. And that's not bad luck, that's a pattern. All right, so yeah, I watched the Halloween trailer skeptical because I've seen what Gun does when money slows down. Actually, it doesn't slow down, they just pretend it's slowing down. And IllFonic hasn't exactly proven long time commitment either. But then I saw the new multiplayer trailer and I thought, okay, you know what, should I give this a chance? So I wanted to analyze a little bit. So let's compare this to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre failed because the gameplay loop was solved immediately. Same exits, same rotation, same outcomes, and after a few hours, you weren't actually playing, you were executing muscle memory. Halloween fixes that with two key choices: perks, dynamic maps, item location change, exit path change, strategies change every match because they say that the map is dynamic and the location of each and every item is also randomized. Replayability comes from variation and not repetition. And honestly, that tells me they actually learned something. Now we have also got NPCs that help you or they try to guide you. You can arm them, you can coordinate with them. Now, Ilphonic took what they already knew from their previous Ghostbusters game and actually improved it this time. Now, do we know how dynamic it really is yet? No. Take this with a grain of salt. But here's why my opinion changed a little bit. Not because the trailer looked good, because trailers always look good. They are the presentation, they are the marketing piece for everyone to just watch. They are not the actual thing. But because when I broke down why these decisions were made, the logic actually held up. And that almost never happens with Ilphonic launch. So here's my verdict, Gun Interactive verdict. I have no hope actually. Because at the end of the day, Gun cares about launches, not longevity. And after Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm kinda going to keep my distance. And I'll probably jump in months after launch. I'm not going to be a part of funding bunch of greedy corpos. But if you're okay with that, you do you. What I'm watching is post-launch roadmaps, seasons, events, new maps, actual long-term plans, because a strong launch without a future plan is just a slower version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In my opinion, this is a genuinely great-looking horror multiplayer game built on smarter design than anything these studios have done before. But I've been here before and we have all been here before. We have all gone through the same experiences with the same games and wasted money. And the graveyard of abandoned live services games already has a Gun Interactive headstone. So I'll ask you directly, chat. Do you think this game is going to survive 1 year after launch? Or does it join the rest? I'm leaving cautiously optimistic. Alright, if you want more of these horror games coverage, hit the sub. I'm Pixel. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.